Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Hello.
Ciao, Amber. Namaste. I'm sorry for
Namaste.
being late or a connection problem. But today I will be connecting my one device here and I hope I am visible and audible clearly. Am I?
We can hear you well.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I want to say I'm using this Zoom first. Okay. I cannot see much windows on my phone here actually, but I hope. So there is Amber. May I know the names of the other students, please? Who is here? Hello. Okay. So we will start with the anatomy and the physiology session here. There is Dina and Amber. Dina, sorry.
Yes, we are we are 5 people. Or 4. No, 4
Okay,
people.
so you. Okay, great. So is it your first session, everyone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it your first class of the anatomy session? Hello, am I audible? Is it your first
I
class,
don't have the
everyone?
app. I'm doing it on the computer, so I can't do it on my phone.
You can mute yourself, everyone. The other people, you have to mute yourself so you can hear me very well. Okay. Please mute yourself. We will start directly here with the session. Not wasting much more time here. We have some few classes of yoga anatomy we will be learning. And in this anatomy and physiology sessions, we will cover up some important topics related with, hello? If someone has to mute, like someone is unmute, so you have to mute someone so you can hear me very well. Okay. I hope I am audible now. You can show me the thumbs up if I am audible. That's it. So I can know. About the anatomy and physiology sessions here, first important thing that we will start about introducing what is anatomy and what is physiology. So in general, if I will ask that even if you know everyone else, that the anatomy sessions here, what exactly is anatomy? The anatomy is the branch of the science that not only deals with our systems or with the living organisms, but here we are trying to learn the yoga anatomy, which is not exactly same as the anatomy or the science. The yoga anatomy is that subject where we have to study in terms of scientific, in terms of spirituality as well. So the science with the mixture of the spirituality makes the yoga anatomy, where we are going to study all the parts or the systems of the body and in depth about few parts that comes under the section of the physiology here. Regarding the anatomy and the physiology, if I will ask you, any one of you, like I don't remember the names like Dina, Dasma, and Amber, any one of you, like why do we need to study anatomy and physiology? Why there is a need to study this yoga anatomy or the physiology in this teacher training program or in any kind of course? Is there a need? Yes, the answer is yes, but why? So that there are many reasons to understand Yep. Hello. I hope I am audible, right? Okay. Yes. Thank you for showing the thumbs up. Yeah. So here in this anatomy section, the first important we will be studying the types of systems. And in these types of systems, what or why do we need, like, if, for example, we will study the digestive system, starting with the digestive system, if we will study the respiratory system, if we will study the skeletal system, if we are going to study the muscular system. So all these kinds of systems like the nervous system, the muscular system, the skeletal system, the endocrine system, even there are many more systems like the cardiac system, the circulatory system. So all these systems of the body which help to regulate the functions of the body and which are important to know. So why do we need to study this anatomy? And the importance of this anatomy is so that we could be able to know the basics when we practice the yoga, that is asana, pranayama, meditations, cleansing techniques, or the kriyas, so that we could apply it in a right order or in a right way. So here, taking into consideration, this is just a brief session today. Today is just a brief session. Not exactly we are going to start with the systems, or exactly we will focus on the skeletal or the muscular system today. Just a brief thinking about the digestive system or the respiratory system. If learning the anatomy and the physiology, if we don't, or if I will ask you in general about the digestive system and we are performing some postures on the core or our digestive organs, and for example people have to know like where is the exact location of the stomach. If I will ask you where is the exact location of the stomach, how much is the size of the stomach, what is the capacity of our stomach, so like people like think like, okay, talking about stomach, this whole region belongs to like the belly, is whole is our stomach, but it is not like that in this case. The stomach is very the smallest organ here. The stomach is just like the two fists of our hands, the two fists which are kept side to side at this side, left side of our abdomen. So the importance to learn this anatomy and physiology, we are not going to see in depth about the digestive system, but I'm just telling you why we need to learn like some important things, the location, the points. For example, if it pains in our abdomen, we will think we have the problem related with our stomach, but not this whole abdomen is our stomach. So there are some things we should know, that stomach is on the left side, how to digest the food, how to metabolize these organs, or how the working of these organs, how it works. Similarly, related with the respiratory system. One more question I can ask you, let me see, the student, like Breneleva, hello, like for example, is if I can ask about the respiratory system and like the food pipe and windpipe, there are food pipe and windpipe. Food pipe in the digestive system and in the respiratory system, the windpipe. Can anyone tell me where is the food pipe and windpipe? How are they located? Do you know food pipe and windpipe? Food pipe, where we eat, that food enters into the food pipe, and when we breathe, that air enters into the windpipe. Do you know these things? We have to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where is this food pipe and windpipe in our body?
Which
In
one?
Obvious.
Which one is left? Which one is the right, right? Is he
I
asking
don't
about?
know.
Okay, I will tell. I will give you the hint. You can tell. They are all connected from the nose to the lungs. Again, food pipe is connected from the mouth to the stomach. Yes, so both are inside. But which one is in front and which one is in the back? Can you tell me whether the food pipe is in front or the windpipe is in the front?
The windpipe is in the back.
That is exactly wrong. Okay, but no problem. The windpipe, you will see here, there are the rings of trachea. So the front, in the front region where our lungs are located is the windpipe, and the food pipe is exactly behind the windpipe. Like they are exactly behind. So whenever we eat or whenever we breathe, that time we have a flap of tissue in our throat region that is known as epiglottis. This works or send the food to the food pipe and wind to the windpipe. By mistake, if the food particle goes into the windpipe, then we start coughing. Or if we eat while sleeping, or if we eat while dancing, so we have to sit straight and eat here. And why it is important to learn this anatomy and physiology, it is one more thing, that at least some basics. I will not teach like technical or bookish things. Here we are not to become a doctor. I can teach that as well, but to know some basics, like even where this is windpipe, where is the food pipe, what happens when it pains here above the stomach, how is the food pipe connected to the stomach. The next system, if I will talk about the skeletal system or the muscular system, even in that, for example, if we will learn, like, do we know that skeletal system is made up of bones? Am I right? Skeletal system is made up of bones? Yes. Okay. So how many number of bones are there in our body in general? Anyone?
I don't know, a lot.
72? I don't know.
206.
208.
Yes, yes. 206. Okay. It is the right answer. You can now mute yourself. Great. So we have 206 number of bones, like you said, 72 before. Not this much less number of bones. She is right. Like 206 number of bones. And if I will ask, like in the muscular system, so we do not need to know exactly the number of bones, but how this bone work, how these muscles going to work, like number of muscles in our body. Can I ask how many number of muscles will be there? There are more than 600 muscles in our body. How much? 600 muscles. Yes, try to keep some notes. Try to keep a paper and a pen. Try to write as much as you can. It is important when I speak, even for Dasma and Amber. Let me see who else is there on the screen. Check. Okay. So here, all the system, like 600 muscles or 206 number of bones, we just need how it works, how the muscles are connected to the bones, what bones are important in some kinds of asanas, how to use these bones and the muscles. Just learning the anatomy and to be the doctor is different. But learning a yoga anatomy is a different process. Here we have to know as a kind of therapy that learning the yoga anatomy, the basic things, even the advanced things about the endocrine system, how these glands are connected to the chakras. Like for example, the endocrine system. This endocrine system is the system of glands. For example, the glands are like we have, do you know the thyroid glands? I will just thyroid glands, thyroid. Yep. So thyroid gland is present in our throat region, the thyroid. Have you heard this word? Never heard this word? Okay, no problem. So there are many glands in our body which regulates hormones. There are glands in our body which regulates hormones. And the regulation of these hormones maintains the body's health in a good condition. So we need to know like which gland is connected to which chakra. Have you heard that we have at least 7 major chakras in our body? Yes or no? Yes. So each and every chakra is connected with each and every gland in our body. Each and every chakra, the spiritual connection with the scientific connection, I am making it here. Just we should understand that, okay, the regulation of hormones connected by the pituitary gland or the pineal gland, we are not studying it today, or we will be not studying these glands in this. But just to let you know that the crown chakra gland, the third eye chakra gland, the thyroid gland for the throat chakra, the thymus gland for the heart chakra, the solar plexus chakra, we have the we have the diabetic gland, also we have the sacral chakra, then we have the root chakra for the 7 chakras like the reproductive glands. There are different glands which regulate these hormones. And like when the science is connected with these chakras and spirituality, here there are much more like only the regulation of hormones or the balancing of the chakras. Like if the chakras are not balanced, then our body is not stable, our mind is not stable. And if we consider to go to the doctor here, they give us a pill or the medicine, or some can give us the antibiotics to maintain that regulation of the hormones. For example, some people do have problems while sleeping at night or late night sleep. They can't follow good sleep. So what does they do? They go to the doctor and the doctor can give them a medicine. That medicine is known as melatonin hormone medicine or the pineal gland medicine. But this pineal gland is connected with which chakra? The third eye chakra, for example, I will say. Not for example, it is connected with the third eye chakra. But if instead of going to the doctor, we directly work on our third eye chakra instead of eating that melatonin pill. That melatonin pill is that which regulates the melatonin hormone. That melatonin hormone makes us sleepy, drowsy. When there is a dark, makes us sleepy. The serotonin is different. Serotonin is the happy hormones in our body. So in general, why it is very much important to learn this anatomy or the physiology in yoga, where we have to understand not only the parts of the body, not only the philosophy behind every asana, every pranayama, every meditation, but also we need to understand some basics how our body works, not only the physical state of the body, but the mental state of the body, how it works. There is much more importance to the subtle body or the astral body, which is not visible to our naked eye. So that astral body is also important in terms of yoga anatomy, not only anatomy. Here, so thinking about the systems, I will just give you the brief introduction, like how many systems are there. We are not going to study this all the systems like digestive system, the system like where we eat, ingest, digest, excrete. The next, like respiratory system, where the flow of prana goes into each and every part of our body. Respiratory, where we breathe. Can I ask, like in the respiratory system as well, like how much we breathe per minute? Just one more question I need to ask. How much breath we take per minute?
12.
Yes. How much number of breath we take per minute?
Oh, I think it's 60.
Oh, it's too fast.
So it depends upon the
Breathing
age.
8 until 12.
Yes.
Yeah, it depends upon, yes, you are also right. It depends upon the age of the person. I will tell you, you can mute yourself. You are right, 8 or the 12, but not exactly right. Like if we are adults, like in between 20 to 40 years, like or more old than 50 years, the number of breaths reduce, it decrease. The more old and old we become, the less and less number of breaths happen. Like this it is. So similarly, the number of breaths at the moment, like for example, taking into consideration in between 20 to 40 years, we do breathe like 16 to 20 number of times per minute. 16 to 20 number of times per minute only. This is just of the human, but have you just thought that what would be the breath of, if I will ask you, the turtle or the tortoise? Do you know how much that tortoise or the turtle can breathe? If we humans can survive for 100 years on an average, our average lifespan is 100 years according to Ayurveda. According to Ayurveda, Sushruta and Charaka, not nowadays. Nowadays, people can just, and lots of corona and these things and pandemic, they cannot survive even 50 or 60. Nowadays, lifespan is reducing. But if our body is balanced, average lifespan is 100 years in this era. For example, the average lifespan of the turtle or the tortoise, if you will think how much this turtle or tortoise can breathe, how much the puppies, everyone has the dogs or the pets. Do you know how much fast they breathe? You know, right? They breathe so faster, right?
Yeah.
The dogs or the cats or the pets. So when we breathe as fast as we can, the lifespan is reduced. So why it is important to know how to breathe the yoga with the help of yoga anatomy or with physiology, that we should control the flow of the breath here. Taking into consideration, I will tell you the breath of the tortoise, that it is just 4 or less than 5 per minute, or it may be just 1 or 2. The more old the tortoise, the less number of breath. For example, if the turtle or tortoise is more than 100 years or 150, 200 years, we have seen the turtle, they just breathe or 2 to 5 times in one whole day. So this much slow is the process. The more lifespan, the more slow you go, the more benefits. As in, not like humans. Anyway, we are not here to study about the turtle. Yes, Brahmya?
Yeah, all good, all good.
Okay. So here now first we will start and see about some things, and our focus will be on this skeletal and muscular system. But side by side, I will be also giving some therapy sessions. So I have placed a mat, some props, and the pillows here. From tomorrow onwards, I will be also keeping my laptop so I can see you very well on my laptop screen, where I can perform some postures related with the skeletal and the muscular system and how will it work. Anyway, so first important to talk about the human body. Our human body anatomy, we will study what is the smallest element of the human body. Can you tell anyone? The smallest element of our human body? Or what does this human body made up of?
Cell.
A cell, exactly. A cell is what? The smallest element. So the smallest element, the cell, this is known as the building blocks of the human body. And how many number of cells are there in our body on an average? There are 100. How many?
Oh, we don't know.
No problem. It is not like 200, 300. It is 100 trillion. 100 trillion cells in our body with many types. It's not like in the thousand or millions. There are 100 trillions of cells in our human body. And why or how this cell will survive? This cell or human anatomy in our body will survive with the help of nutrition and oxygen. The proper nutrition and the amount of oxygen will help this cell to survive. Inside the cell, we are not or we will not learn everything about the cell, but very basic things to know. That why do we need to do pranayama every day? Why do we need to do asana every day? So here, so that our each and every part of the body, each and every cell will get the proper amount of oxygen, and with the regular practice of the physical postures and asanas, it will boost our metabolism and it will properly nourish each and every cell in our body. Similarly, inside the cell, what is there exactly? Inside a cell, so outside of the cell, there is what? There is a membrane or the cover of the cell. And inside the cell, there is a nucleus. So what is this nucleus or the role of the nucleus inside the cell? The role of the nucleus inside the cell, it is the brain of the cell, we can say, or it is the unit of that cell which controls all the function of the cell, the nucleus. And inside the nucleus at the center of the cell, we will find our DNA. DNA is located inside the nucleus, held by the chromosomes or held by the nucleus. And the role of the DNA is to split into the number of cells. All the primary functions or all the signals of these cells given to each and every cells are done with the help of RNA, ribonucleic nucleic acid. No need to write these big words. Just we need to know today that our body has a group or number of cells which has made our body, and we do need these cells to survive by proper asana practice and pranayama practice to nourish the cells with the protein and with the proper amount of breath. Again, 100 trillions or more than 100 trillions of cells into each and every part of our body are been there. The cover of the cell membrane, the DNA, the nucleus is inside at the center, and this role of the nucleus is to split into the number of cells to produce more number of cells. Similarly, in our body, there are tissues. I write the next, or you can write down the next important thing, tissue. What are these tissue? After the cell in the human body is tissue. So what are these tissue? The group of cells together makes a tissue. I repeat, a group of cells coming together makes a tissue. So this group of cells which are in one or which are together makes a tissue. These tissues are categorized into number of types. So for example, the muscle is a part or the example of the muscular tissue. So we have muscular tissue, we do have the nerve tissue, we do have the epithelial tissue, and also we do have the connective tissue. So just you can write it down. I will just today make it in a low voice, or I will go slow by slow. I don't have that manual. Try not to find, just try to write it down as much as slow. I will just keep saying slowly. So the connective tissue, epithelial tissue, we have the muscular tissue. Muscular tissue is made up of muscles. Nervous tissue made up of nerves in our body. There are lots of nerves. Similarly, epithelial tissue is like our glands or our skin, epidermis. Epidermis is our skin. And connective tissues are, you will find that in bones, ligaments. These are all the connective tissues. For example, we have the tendons, we have the ligaments, and we have the fascia. We have the tendons, we have the ligaments, and we have the fascia. These are all the connective tissues. I would like to say one more thing. Today, I am just on a mobile phone, so I cannot type, or I could have given you in typing on my laptop, but my laptop is today dead. But from tomorrow, I will type side by side these anatomical words. I know these are very difficult to remember. Just for today, we will go through it. Again, I will repeat, the group of cells make a tissue. We have muscular, nervous, epithelial, and connective tissues, the 4 tissues. Then the group of tissue will make an organ. What is the definition of organ? The group of tissues will make an organ. So we have approximately 78 or more organs in our body. Just to let you know, we have more than exactly approximately 78 organs in our body here. Apart from this, the group of cell or the tissues or the group of tissues makes the organs. This is all in our human body. Organs, do you understand like what are the organs like? Heart, kidney, stomach, intestine, large intestine, small intestine, brain, all are these kinds of organs in our whole body. Up till here, I want to ask you, is it cleared a little bit at least? It is clear the concept? Okay, here we just need to clear the concept, and if you have written, I will proceed further that our human body now, next point, has been divided into 5 major sections, I will say. Or the sections of human body, very easy now, very easy. What is the first section of the human body? Is the head region. head is not only our brain. This whole section, the facial muscles, the cranium, is all belongs to the section of the head. Then the next section is the neck section. Also need to know this important thing. The next section is the neck section. Again, the third section, first is head, the second is neck, the third is our trunk. What is the trunk? The trunk is our below the neck till our waist is our trunk section, the whole trunk. So in this whole trunk, what we have? We have two regions of the trunk, the upper and the lower. So the region above the diaphragm, we have the diaphragm muscle. The diaphragm is the muscle which separates the torso and the abdomen. So if we will talk about the torso, above the diaphragm. Do you know what is diaphragm? Yes. Above the diaphragm is our torso, below the diaphragm, abdomen, all the organs in the abdomen. Similarly, upper back, behind, and lower back. Upper back and lower back. This is the third section, trunk. The fourth one is the upper, like the branches, or upper branches and the lower branches. So what are the upper branches? Our two hands, and the lower branches are the two legs. These are the, we just categorize our human body. Very simple. Head, neck, trunk. In our trunk, torso, abdomen, upper back, lower back. Then upper limbs, hands, and the legs, lower limbs. Limbs of the body. Here, apart from this human body sections and anatomy, we need to know the anatomical terminology of this body. So write down the next point, anatomical terminology of the body. This is a very important thing, very important thing to know the anatomical terminology of the body. So in this anatomical terminology, give the first point as directional terms. Directional terms. What are the directional terms in this anatomical terminology? So first directional term is the subpoint. So in this directional terms, the first we need to know is superior region. Write the first thing, the superior region or the superior. First term, superior. What does this mean, the superior? Superior is that part of the body which is located towards the superior end of the body, or towards our cranium. Cranium means our head. I repeat, very important to know. If you will understand this thing, just this direction, you will be able to learn all these names of the bones, all the names of the muscles in future. In future, just this direction, superior is what? When the part of the body is located towards the cranium. So like our face is at the superior end. For example, our of the cranium. The next is inferior. Second term is what? The inferior. What does this mean, inferior? Towards the bottom end of the body. The next is what? The inferior end. So whatever the part of the body is being located towards the bottom end of the body is known to be as the inferior part of the body. For example, our ankle or our foot is located at the inferior end. Again, what is the next one? the superior, the inferior, the anterior and the posterior. So what does this mean? The anterior region of the body. Anterior is the front side, the part of the body which is located at the front side of the body. For example, kneecap. Where is our kneecap? The kneecap is located at the front side. This is not at the back of the leg. So anterior portion of the leg, kneecap. Posterior region of the leg. Posterior means towards the back. Whatever the parts of the body, muscles, bones of the body are located at the back side are to be known as posterior. Whatever the bones and the muscles of the body are being located to the front side of the body are known as anterior part of or anterior region. Up till here, I think it is clear. Great. The next term, so what terms we have seen up till now? 4 terms. Superior, posterior, anterior region, and inferior region. Then the next is medial and lateral region. So to show my foot here, the medial region, whatever the part and the bones of the body which are located in the midline of the body or towards the midline of the body, that part or the bone of the body are known to be as medial term, or the medial part of the body, medial muscle of the body, medial bone of the body. For example, the middle toe, or if I will say the middle finger, which is located at the medial end of the hand or the foot, at the medial region. Like for example, if I will say the little finger is at the lateral end, at the lateral side of the hand. So this is what inline, medial, and lateral is what the outside. Similarly, the medial and the lateral, after that we have the proximal end and distal end. So what exactly is the proximal end? I will tell here. Whatever the proximal end is the starting point. Proximal is the starting point. For example, if we take into consideration our elbow joint. So what is the proximal end of the elbow joint? The starting point. So the proximal end of this bone, like radius. So this is the starting point and the ending point. So where the bone starts at the elbow joint, that bone where it starts is the proximal end, and the distal end where the bone will go down from the elbow. So the wrist is at the distance from the elbow. So there is what? The distal point. For example, our ankle is at distal point from the knee. So this is what we have to understand, only these terms, only this much. Like what we have seen up till now in this anatomical terminology, the first sub point we have given the terms. So in this we have seen the superior, which is towards the up head region or towards the upper part of the body, location of the superior. Inferior towards the lower part of the body. Then we have anterior at the front side of the body. Then we have posterior at the back side of the body. Then we have the distal, proximal, medial, and lateral. So medial is at the midline of the body. Lateral is at the side of the body. Proximal is at the starting point where the part of the body, for example, if you want to know what is the part of the elbow joint, what is the part proximal end of the head, what is the proximal end of the neck, we have to know the proximal end, where the muscle start, where the muscle end, where the bone start, where the bone end. We should know the starting point and ending point. That is known as proximal and distal. In future, we will study about some number of bones, not in future, from tomorrow's sessions. I hope today it will be just a bit confusion because I have been not typing the names. So for you, these names will be quite hard to write if you are not from the anatomical background.
It's okay. I mean, some things we have in the book, so
It's good if you have some things in the book, but try to ask anything, anytime. If you have any questions, like for everyone, even not only brainy, but for all of you, try to ask much and more questions anytime.
Okay, thanks.
And we will see in tomorrow's session, we start with the skeletal system. Today, the directional terms of the anatomical terminology is you have to just focus what is the superior end, posterior end. You have to focus this more. It will help you a lot in this next session. Again, what we have studied, I will just tell you, we have seen why anatomy and physiology introduction session, why it is important for us to know, why digestive system, respiratory system, all the systems, basic knowledge should be there, at least basic knowledge. Apart from that, we have seen the cell in very short, what is the cell, what is the function, again, what is the function of the nucleus, how it holds the DNA into the chromosome, and what is the role of this DNA. After this cell, what is the tissue? Can you tell me what is the tissue?
He's asking us.
A group of cells, yes. So one cell, very tiny, into micron. We cannot see one cell. Just we need a microscope. So this group of cells makes tissue. What is this tissue? Our muscle, nerve, glands, skin, the skin epidermis, epithelial tissue, all this are connective tissue. So there are some certain kinds of tissue. Again, this group of tissue makes organs. We have some. So approximately 78 organs. All these organs, intestine, small, large, heart, brain, kidney, bones. Apart from these organs, we have switched towards the human anatomy of the body. We have seen these 5 sections, very simple, like head, neck, trunk, upper and lower limbs. And with the human body anatomy terminology, directional terms. So from tomorrow, we will also study the cavities of the body and the planes of the body, and directly start with the skeletal system with the bones. What is bone? What is exactly makes the bone? How many number of bones? Where are they located? How they function? It is all in tomorrow's session. Okay.
all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now you can see tomorrow.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
I think you have to press it again.